But everybody was like, hey, I know like you're making this as a joke and stuff and it's all funny, but like you actually are pretty talented. Like you actually can like spit, you can rap. You know, sometimes you get caught up in a weird group of friends or you think people are your friends and then they turn out to not be, and that's not like where I'm from. Like where I'm from, my friends were my friends for life, you know. First taste at like the ugly side of the music industry. My first time on a major label, and immediately they pretty much told me that I have to stop rapping.
Hi, this is Lauren Engel. Today I'm here with Jake Miller.
Hello. What's up?
I'm good. So you were born actually in like Washington D.C., right?
Yes, I was.
For like a year.
And then I moved to Florida when I was 1. I lived in Florida my whole life, and then I moved to California 3 years ago.
What was it your parents' job that you moved from like Washington to like
Was it
Fort
what?
Lauderdale?
Was it my parents' job?
Yeah.
Oh no. Actually, yeah, it was. Actually, my dad's an eye doctor, and he got a job in Florida as an eye doctor, and now he runs his own practice in South Florida, so that's why we moved there. Yeah.
Yeah. What does your mom do?
My mom was a lawyer. Now she's a stay-at-home mom. Makes sure that everybody's got what they want and everyone's got what they need, and she just holds down the house, you know.
And they're really really loving parents. Like they met when they were in like high school.
Oh, yeah.
Sweethearts, so cute.
Yeah, high school sweethearts. They took a little break in college and then they got back together, and now they're happily married. Yeah.
Yeah. And your dad also helped you on with your music like super early on.
Yeah. He my whole family really has always been into music. My dad was in a band. He kind of taught me how to play drums and guitar.
Oh.
My mom's always been a great singer. She used to sing the national anthem at like big basketball tournaments and tennis tournaments and stuff like that.
That's where you got your creative side from, even though they're both kind of in academic fields.
Yeah, that's true. Music has always been in my family's blood for sure.
What kind of music did your parents play in the house when you were growing up?
My dad played a lot of like Jimmy Buffett, Bruce Springsteen, the Eagles, the Commodores, a lot of old classic rock music.
You were also into NSYNC back then, right?
Yeah, everybody was into NSYNC back then. But when I was like 8, I think that's probably when it was. I was just obsessed with them, mostly Justin Timberlake, the way that they danced, the way that they sang, and it just kind of captured me and completely made me obsessed with music. And that was really my love for music. That's where it began. And then Eminem started. I discovered his music and I began to love hip hop, and I kind of just put together all the types of music that I love, and that's kind of why I started making music.
Yeah. Do you remember the first CD you bought?
The first physical CD I bought was Yellow Card, Ocean Avenue.
Oh.
It was actually the first time I ever took a trip to California. My parents took me into a store and bought me my favorite CD. So yeah.
But were you actually in bands back then? Because you did drums and guitars, kind of like bands, right?
No, I was just doing it like for fun. Like I would come home from school, I had this electronic drums set, and I would kind of just play my favorite songs on a speaker and play along to these songs. And I would just kind of, jam for hours until my fingers were all, black and blue, and it was just for fun.
But you never were interested to join a band because you listened to like Yellow Card and everything?
I was just a regular kid in school, so I didn't really know how to join a band if I ever even wanted to. None of my friends were into making music, so I didn't think it was a very realistic thing for me to do. So I was just concentrating on studying and going to the best college I could and get the best job that I could.
How do you describe yourself back then growing up?
A lot different than I am now. I always tell people that when I graduated high school, I feel like I started over in life. Like there's been 2 chapters of my life, from 0 to 18 years old. And then at 18, it's just, I don't know, something happened. All my friends went off to college, and I took a completely different route. And I feel like I started a new life. And I was a completely different kid. I had no confidence back then. I had a lot of acne. I took this acne medicine called Accutane.
Oh, yeah.
It really messed up my face for a while. I was just really self-conscious, and I never liked the spotlight. I never wanted to, put myself out there. And then I discovered music. I started putting out a few songs, and people were giving me really good feedback, so it gave me the confidence to keep going and make more music.
What were your favorite subjects back then?
I didn't like school at all.
You didn't?
No, it wasn't for me. I think the only thing that school really taught me was how to be a normal person and how to, act in a social environment and how to treat people and how to make friends and just the basic, skills of just being a person. It's not like the actual knowledge that I learned from the books and in the classroom. I don't think that really helped me much. I think it's all just the common sense, common knowledge skills that I learned from being around a lot of people every day.
Did your parents push you academically? Because they're pretty academic, right?
Oh yeah, I was I think top 10% of my class.
Even if you didn't like school?
I didn't like it, but I was definitely pushed very
awesome.
hard. And at the same time, I didn't know that music, was going to come into my life. So I thought that I was going to, even though I didn't really know what I was passionate about, I knew that I was my whole life raised to study hard and, work hard, play hard, go to a good college, get a good job. That's what everybody did in the city that I was from. Nobody took a crazy, weird route like moving to LA and chasing a crazy dream. So when I did that, all my friends thought I was crazy.
What made you want to start music in general? Because your friends weren't really doing it. So wasn't really an environmental thing that you felt like you were looped into doing it?
I started making music with my friend. His name was Jordan. And it was our senior year of high school, and we were completely just doing it as a joke. We were making songs, rapping about our friends and our teachers and just really silly stuff. And we would put a song out on MySpace once a week. This was before Snapchat, Vine, Instagram, and all of a sudden we kept getting really great feedback and better feedback and more views, and all of a sudden everybody in our high school knew me and this kid Jordan for these songs that we were making. Not that they necessarily liked them or listened to these songs, but everybody knew that we were making them. And we had this one song that just kind of blew up in our high school. It was a complete joke. But everybody was like, hey, I know you're making this as a joke and stuff and it's all funny, but you actually are pretty talented. You actually can spit, you can rap. This is back when I was rapping. And so they were like, you should actually pursue it, try to make a real song where you're not joking around and see where it can get you. And so that's when I kind of was like, all right, let me try to actually write a real song with some real meaning. And then that's where it just took off.
Was it difficult for you to write songs initially?
I don't think it's really ever hard for me to write songs. I just take my real life experiences and make them rhyme. It's not like I'm writing things that are foreign to me. These are all feelings that I actually have and stories that I've actually lived through. So it's not hard for me to ever really write songs. And if it is, you take a break. If you get writer's block, that's natural. You just take a break and come back to it.
How about your early music videos? How did you even have the budget or to put it all together? Or was that
my
way
very
after?
early music videos was just my sister shooting it on a little camera. That was my first music video ever. We went to the park, she shot it, I edited it, threw it on YouTube, and I got 1,000 views the first day. And I thought that was
you made it.
100 million views back then. But then, we started to reach out to some video companies and people who, were a little bit more professional. And, my parents, I'm lucky enough where I come from a family who not only support me, but they're financially stable, and I'm very thankful for that. And at the beginning stages when I wasn't making any money, they helped me out, and so they would give me a couple bucks to, pay for music videos, and they've always been very supportive.
How did you even think to start doing music videos? Because I feel like a lot of people just focus on the whole, just the record and the CD and the packaging. Back then when you were first starting out.
Back when I first started out, the reason why I really started making music was because of Mac Miller. He was 18, he was white, he was rapping, and I just felt like I could relate to him. And on top of that, he was putting out music videos that were really, really cool and fun. And he was doing it with his friends. His friends were shooting them, and he was putting his friends in the videos. And something about it just really, caught fire with kids my age. Everybody loved Mac Miller, and everybody loved his videos. And so I was just like, that's what I want to do.
And then you went to University of Miami, right?
For about 1 month.
Yeah.
And that's right when I signed my first deal. Dropped out of college after going for 1 month.
Well, were you on track to? Did you have a major in mind?
No, I didn't have a major. I was really just taking general classes. Honestly, it was just because my parents were making me do it. I think it was their way of feeling better about themselves, about letting me, not go to college. So the compromise was kind of okay, well, while you're making music, since you don't have too much going on besides, writing songs, it's not like you're on tour, it's not like you're busy every day. So while you're doing this and writing songs, be a part-time student at University of Miami.
Oh.
That was kind of like the compromise. And I don't know, my thing was like, I can only concentrate on one thing and go 100% with it. I'm not going to concentrate on 50% on school and come home and study half the night, and then also concentrate 50% on music and write music the other half. I'm either going to do one or the other. And so I'm like, I need to drop out.
What was their reaction? How did you tell them?
No, I didn't really tell them. It was once I was actually at school and we got a call from a label, Universal Republic.
What was this before E1?
This was before E1.
Oh.
Yeah. And they pretty much said that they wanted to come and give me a deal, offer me a deal. And that was when my parents kind of opened their eyes. And they're like, okay, maybe he's really got something. It's not just our friends and family telling us now. It's people who are actually professionals in the music industry. And so I'm like, yeah, I need to concentrate all on music. And they're like, yeah, you do. Let's do it.
What was your career at that point when Universal reached out?
I didn't have any. I hadn't made
So they
$1
just found
yet.
your videos online?
Yeah, I had, a couple thousand views, but it wasn't like I was touring. I didn't really have a fan base yet. I hadn't made any money. I was just going. I was just doing as much as I could do.
So you signed with them?
I never signed with them. They gave me my first record deal offer. My dad was like, I know you really want to sign a deal, but let's hold out and wait until other deals come along, and that's what we did. And we waited for the right one.
What about the E1 deal was just for one, was it one album?
Yeah, that was my first. The E1 deal was my first record deal. It was a one-off is what we call it. And it's just one album. You deliver them one album, they promote it, they put it in stores, Targets, Walmarts, all that stuff. And then once the album cycle is over, then you're done with them. And so I did that. It was great. I made my first full-length album called Us Against Them. And then from there, we went to Warner Brothers. And I signed a 5-album deal with them, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then did you move straight to LA?
Right when I signed with Warner Brothers, yeah, that's kind of was like, I'm going to go to LA right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're out here, so I just figured, I'm going to really dive in 1,000% now. And I'm going to move to LA and just, be writing every day and working every day.
Was it difficult to transition to here, like the environment, the types of people?
No, not really. I mean, the only thing that's really bothered me about LA is what you said, the types of people. Sometimes you get caught up in a weird group of friends, or you think people are your friends, and then they turn out to not be. And that's not like where I'm from. Like where I'm from, my friends were my friends for life. Nobody was fake or anything like that where I was from. Everyone was just really nice people. So moving here, I think that was the biggest change.
But it was surprising for initially when you signed the deal, they were just putting you into sessions, forcing you to make a radio hit. It was kind of stressful.
Yeah, that was my real first taste at the ugly side of the music industry. My first time on a major label, and immediately they pretty much told me that I have to stop rapping because rap music doesn't really catch on the radio. And when you're with a record label, there's really one goal: to get a huge radio smash.
What year was this?
2015. It was more pop rap. So I think it just wasn't taken seriously on the radio, which I understand. But yeah, they pretty much told me to stop doing the one thing that got me where I was and that the fans loved me for, which was rapping. And so at first I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is the definition of selling out. They signed me and now they want to change me, and what am I supposed to do? And I was really upset about it for weeks, and I had a long conversation with my dad on the phone, and he pretty much just said, it's not selling out. Good music is good music. Just stay true to yourself, whether you're rapping or singing, as long as you're writing from your heart, and people will still connect with it.
Did you never actually sing when you were growing up? Because
No.
I just hear it and you're so good at singing.
Thank you.
So I'm how did you
I've
not
been
realize this
practicing.
earlier?
I've been practicing. I started off not knowing a thing about singing, and that was kind of when I started practicing, when Warner Brothers told me to start trying it. And it turns out I love it way more than rapping. I'm independent now, and I'm still not rapping. I'm only singing just because I feel like that's the kind of music that I love and listen to. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been practicing a lot.
Was it mostly just training with other people, or?
You know what? When I was with the label, they put me in sessions every single day
Oh, wow.
with different people, which I loved because I learned little things from everybody. and I get to just collect all that knowledge and store it in my brain. And so there were so many people, singers, songwriters, producers who just, I watched them and I took in all of their tips and advice, and I just learned from everybody.
Mm-hmm. And your first live gig was with Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah, that was my first show ever. As I said, I was the type of kid who didn't really like the spotlight growing up. So when I first started, I was pretty much like, I'm gonna make music and I want to get real famous, but I'm never gonna do any shows. I never want to step on stage in my whole life.
Wow.
And then I got offered by a friend who was promoting a show in Florida to open for Snoop Dogg, and I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah, of course.
So I did it.
That's
I was
crazy.
Scared shitless. I brought all my friends on stage just because I was too scared to go up alone, and it turned out to be the best night of my life. Mm-hmm. And I just fell in love with performing that night, and that's just when I knew how much I loved performing.
And then when you first moved to LA, you signed with Wilhelmina, right?
Yeah, nothing really came out of that, to be honest. Modeling is something for me that's very on the side, Music is so important to me. Music is my baby, but if I could do, modeling and acting on the side, that's cool, but it's not really something I'm too passionate about,
Mm-hmm. What made you want to become independent?
I needed my creative freedom back, As an artist, that's all I really have. All I have is, my thoughts and my ideas, and if people are telling me how to write and what to sing and not to rap and all these things, it's like it starts to feel more like I'm forced to do this and I'm forced to be in this industry, and that's not what I signed up for. So, this isn't homework. Music isn't homework. There should be no guidelines. There should be no rules, and I think any artist can attest to that. So, being independent now, there's nobody in the world telling me what to do. I can make a country album starting tomorrow if I wanted to, and I'm sure it'll be good because anything I do, I put 1,000,000% into it, and there's nobody to tell me no.
Was it difficult getting out of the deal? Was it over?
The deal was not over, no. We didn't get along just because, I didn't agree with what they wanted me to do, and
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like that I was not taking their advice, because at the end of the day, they are the professionals and they've had a lot of success with other artists. So when artists like me come along and don't listen to their advice, they start to get really pissed off. So it just became a very toxic situation. They wanted to let me go, I wanted to get off the deal, and it just worked out perfectly.
You were going through a rough patch at the same time. That whole week was a crazy week for you with you and your girlfriend, and then also your tour got canceled.
Very true. Yeah, the tour got canceled just because the whole thing with the label. I couldn't. They were part of the tour, and I didn't want to. It was kind of like they had put it on, and now that I wasn't on the tour anymore, I wasn't allowed to go tour. Same thing with my ex-girlfriend. I just got out of a crazy 8-year relationship that same week. So last year was pretty crazy, but I bounced back. I learned how to produce my own music. I focused on myself and my goals and where I wanted to go next. And music was just very therapeutic for me that whole year. And I just worked on me and my goals.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn from being in such a long-term relationship previously?
What did I learn?
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot of stuff, good things and bad things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy I'm single now, just because I feel like it's important right now where I'm at in my life to just concentrate on me as a person. I'm always working on music. So I feel like if I had a girlfriend right now, she would get sick of me really quick, especially if she lived with me in the same room, because I'm always in my room just playing and practicing. So I couldn't have a girlfriend right now, so I'm focused on my music more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And then was it really difficult for you to put out Silver Linings, because it was so much of yourself? I feel like every single song I was going through your intro was okay, this is the part where you were talking about this, and I can hear the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not difficult to write those songs. I mean, if somebody hears them and thinks it's about them and they get offended, you know what, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I just, I write music about what I know and what I go through, and I have to write it about what I'm actually going through, because other people are probably going through it as well. And so they can relate to it, and that's what makes music great.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting here hiding all my feelings and writing, about how great my life is and how rich I am and bottles and bitches, nobody can relate to that. So I just, I write about what I go through, and if people get offended, sorry.
And what was your idea for like the visual aspect? Because I feel like it's also cohesive, like from the video to all the art that you posted on IG and also on like Spotify.
So the whole point of the cover, the name and the art, it's called Silver Lining, and I am standing on the top of a mountain, and if you see, it's a bunch of people floating away from me, holding balloons into the distance, and all of those people kind of represent past experiences, past relationships, bad energy, my record label, my old manager, past relationships. It's not that I have bad blood against any of them. It's just now I'm at the point of my life where I'm standing at the top of the mountain by myself, independent, and I'm just watching all this, past bad energy float away. And I'm looking at the sunset, I'm looking at the silver lining, and it basically just says, out of every bad thing comes a good positive thing. So that's the whole point of the album.
How about was it a photographer who shot it all for you, or how did
So my friend Edgar, who's my roommate, he shot all the pictures of me and the girl, but we shot them all in my kitchen, and then I sent them to this 18-year-old kid in Finland, and he photoshopped it all.
No way! Yeah. I was gonna say, like, where did he shoot these pictures? Like the sunset, sunrise, looks amazing.
All in my apartment.
It looks so real.
Yeah, he killed it. He killed it. It was my favorite album artwork that I've ever seen. Not just for me, for anybody.
How about the music video itself?
That was a kind of low-key video. I just wanted to go to the beach, go to the Malibu, and kind of shoot something for the fans. It wasn't any crazy storyline for the music video, but it was just very visually, aesthetically pleasing. But we have a new music video coming out soon that we shot in Hawaii for the song called Drinking About You, and that's like my favorite music video that we've ever shot.
Is there a turning point that you're focusing a lot more on the visual aspects and like making everything cohesive? Because I feel like now you have such a unique style with this.
I definitely have more of a passion for not only making sure the music is right, but also the visuals. John Bellion really inspired me in terms of that because he has amazing visuals. And so, I think it's all important as a full package. And so this is the first time we're making physical albums and vinyls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And vinyls, just because I love the art so much.
How did you meet Cheat Codes? So now you're really close to them, right?
Cheat Codes I met when I first moved to LA, I think. I can't even remember when I met them because I feel like I've known them for so long. But yeah, they're great dudes.
And you also tweeted about that you're starting to write songs for other people. Is this a new thing?
Yeah, I never really purposely mean to write songs for other people. But sometimes I'll write a song and it'll be a good song, but it won't necessarily be something that fits me. And so I'm signed to a publishing company, Warner Chappell, and they pretty much, they're a record label for songwriters. And so I'm signed to them, and their whole job is to, pitch my songs, get my songs placed on TV shows, commercials, and if I'm a songwriter, place my songs with artists. And so I have a few songs, that I've written that I don't want for myself, that their job is to pitch them to other artists. Yeah.
What would you say have been your biggest challenges so far?
My biggest challenge was really learning how to produce my own beats, but it's also been the most fun thing I've ever challenged myself to do. Before last year, I had never made a beat in my life. But when I parted from the label, I was pretty much forced to start learning because they were the ones that were putting me in sessions with all these producers. And so I kind of felt stuck, like, what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to make music if all these producers, I'm not going to be working with them anymore? Plus, they always charge so much money for beats that the label would pay for. And so now that I wasn't on the label, I was like, okay, now I'm just going to learn how to make my own beats. And I went to Guitar Center, I bought all this equipment. I spent 10,000 hours on YouTube, and now all my songs, I make all the beats for them in my room.
Yeah, and you do everything, like the mastering.
Yeah, I learned how to do it all.
Crazy.
Mix it, master it. I record my vocals in my room. I do everything in my room.
Yeah. What does success look like to you?
Success to me is just being happy. Making music that could positively make a difference. That's all I really want to do.
Yeah.
The money is great, the touring is great, but what really makes a difference is being happy and making other people happy.
What does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me?
Yeah.
What does love mean to me? Just somebody who's, always there for you and supports you no matter what. I've only been in love once, so I don't really have much to compare it to. The only thing that I really know is, you know, the one relationship I was in. But I mean, you know, it's all just about supporting somebody and being their best friend and dealing with their ups and their downs. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think any relationship is perfect. I think relationships get harder and harder as they go on, and it's all about just how to make them work and how to deal with, you know, the ugly sides of relationships. And if you can get through that, then, you know, that's love.
I like that. Last question.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for making people happy when they listen to my music. I want to, you know, inspire people to understand that they can do anything that they want. You don't need a big fancy company. You don't need all this money or all this fancy equipment. As long as you have, you know, the determination to practice and get better, and you have a vision and you have imagination, you know, you can really create anything.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.